Real simple. Take a look at the difference there. 73.5 to 67.5. A big reach advantage for Jaylon Bates. We'll see if Chris can get inside and do his work.
3 letters say it all. MCW.
To all of those staying up late night in the UK with us on BBC iPlayer, we thank you for joining us here at Bellator 274 here at the prelims. We'll go now to 3 5-minute rounds in the bantamweight division. Introducing the blue corner. At 5'7", weighing in 135.2 pounds, his professional record, 6 wins, 4 losses, from Albany, New York, Chris Disonell. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 5'10", weighing in 136 pounds even as a professional. He's undefeated, 4 victories, no defeat, out of Lakewood, California, Jaylon New Breed Bates. In charge, your referee, John English.
New breed Jaylon Bates with featherweight kingpin AJ McKee in his corner. Chris Disonell hoping to hang the first L on Bates' pristine record. We are underway. Bates in the southpaw stance. Back to orthodox and the spin kick in time by Disonell, but the scramble, and Bates not only back up to his feet, John, but delivers a knee up the middle.
That's what we're talking about with this kid's good everywhere. His athletic ability, his confidence. Josh Thompson talks about tall, long, and lanky. For a bantamweight, this guy is long and he is lean and he's mean. He goes after his opponent the whole fight until he gets the finish.
Bantamweight division buzzing with the announcement of the Grand Prix as a takedown by Disonell. And of course, Sergio Pettis with one of the greatest knockouts in Bellator MMA history against Kyoji Horiguchi to close out the year. But now it's Disonell, top position on Bates, and Disonell trying to move to full mount, but there's the butterfly hooks being employed by Bates.
Bates using a beautiful butterfly guard, giving Chris nothing but trouble, and now Jaylon is in the top position. This is where he does devastating work.
And you don't want to give him your back, and now taking...
Very nice job by Chris to get back to his feet.
Battle for wrist control. Minute and a half gone in the opening round. Bates, short knees to the right leg of Disonell as Bates diligently trying to bring him to the mat, does so.
And now in a position to take his back completely. Look at where those legs are at. Chris is not in a good position, doesn't want to be here.
There's father and son, Antonio and AJ McKee from Team Body Shop in Bates' corner. Of course, McKee will defend his crown for the first time against former champion Patricio Pitbull. Without a doubt, one of the most loaded lineups in Bellator MMA history. Friday, April 15th at the Shark Tank in San Jose.
No doubt about it, but you see right now Chris is trying to keep himself high with Jaylon's back up on the cage. Not a lot of space for him to move. Jaylon just doing good work, staying calm, composed, still in a position to take Chris where he wants. Chris has been unable, in that hand-fighting war, he's been unable to get rid of those hands. He's broken them apart twice, but the hands keep on coming back together.
And the knee from Bates, trying to change levels, trying to secure the double leg. And scoops him up and puts him down. But it's Disonell from his back, trying to make things happen. Instead gets tagged by Bates. Up kick attempt by Disonell. Now right hand and a left staples Disonell as he gets back to his feet.
2 clean shots by Jaylon right there. That was very well done. Again, just showing that he is competitive. Oh, beautiful jump knee right there. Just his ability to do different techniques when his opponent does not expect those things to happen.
Coming up on the final 90 seconds of the opening round, where Jaylon Bates is 3 for 5 in the takedown department. Make that 4 for 6.
There you go.
But it's Disonell looking underneath there, John, for something.
Yeah, he was looking for Kimura, but he does not have the position to make that work, so it's smart for him to let go of it. Needs to use that fence, get his back up against the cage, and again start trying to work his way back to his feet. He's been taking a lot of shots. Jaylon's been very successful. Beautiful timing on Jaylon Bates, bringing the knee up high.
Let it go, Blue.
Final half minute of the opening round. Bates at 4-0, his 4-fight Bellator winning streak at 135. Tied for the second longest active streak in the division behind Rafion Stotts with 5 consecutive wins. And definitely someone who is looking to make the most out of the opportunity in that Bantamweight World Grand Prix.
Rafion Stotts is just a stud. That's why they call him Super.
And Bates wants to prove that he is a stud, and off to a good start here against Chris Disonell.
Great first round.
A.J. McKee icy like a hockey puck as we get ready for round number 2.
Red, round 2.
Who will shoot and who will score here? Chris Disonell definitely has to get on track, try to find a way to solve the riddle that is Jaylon Bates.
Jaylon Bates has really brought in that side kick.
Oh, slips on that body kick attempt.
Well, he was off balance and he got touched, and that's why he went down. But he's been really looking towards bringing that foot up, using a side kick to the thigh, up to the face. Chris is just trying to figure out the puzzle right now.
It's always that missing piece. Oh, a jumping and a dynamic attack by Jaylon Bates on Showbiz Diz. It's, well, Bates is putting on the show thus far.
He's been just a variety of different offensive attacks. And even when he gets in the clinch, just the knees. He's not only bringing knees to the thigh, he brings them down to the calf. Look at those strike stats right now. 4 of 17 compared to 30. That's a big difference right now. Chris needs to figure out a way to slow this down and gain control.
Yeah, Disonell not enjoying his stay at the Bates Hotel thus far. He'll definitely want to avoid going to the shower early, John, because here against Bates, who is really controlling all aspects, dictating the terms, just missing with that spinning back fist. And you talk about his confidence and where it's at. You don't want to make any reckless mistakes in trying to make a statement.
No, you don't want to make reckless, mistakes, but you got to be who you are also. And Jaylon has this toolbox with all these tools in it, and he wants to use them all. He just needs to pick the proper timing and which tool to use.
And for Disonell, he needs to try to find a way to disrupt that timing, break the rhythm, and really ratchet up the offense. And I know that's easier said than done against a guy who brings the style of Jaylon Bates. But for Chris Disonell at 6-4, 1-0 here in Bellator with a TKO triumph. As we mention all the time, every fight, especially on the prelims, remain an audition for bigger things.
Absolutely, but the one thing, if you're looking at Jaylon right now, what he needs to do is he's throwing ones. He's just throwing one punch, one kick, one punch, backing out. It's got to be in combinations, because it's not the one that's going to end up hurting your opponent. It's the one that he doesn't see. It's the 2-3. That would be the difference right now in what I want to see out of Jaylon.
Well, Bates is throwing ones, Disonell throwing zeros.
Yes.
Teep, there's a counter kick by Disonell past the midpoint of the round and the fight here in the Bantamweight division. Jaylon Bates continues to blossom under the tutelage of Antonio McKee rolling. And now Disonell looking to take advantage here with some hammer fists and ground and pound.
Nice job.
The unpredictability of MMA.
Well, right now, Disonell is obviously in a position to take the back. He's looking to sink that choke, but he doesn't have his legs in place. Doesn't mean he can't get it. But with someone like Jaylon, who understands the game, it's not going to be easy.
Disonell's lone submission win was via rear naked choke, but not that time. Bates back on his feet, back on the hunt. But you're right, Jaylon Bates missed opportunity perhaps here in the second round, John, with what transpired in the first frame?
Absolutely. You know, you take a look at what's happening. He can build on that. He hasn't, based upon
Good distribution by Disonell, and nice scramble by Bates. And Disonell working the whizzer here. 1:17 left in the second round.
Just be careful since he's into that leg on the single. Exactly what
right into side control.
Holding on to something, and you can see what's going to happen. But you think, oh, I might get it. You're not going to get it. Set yourself up better.
And now Bates has Disonell's back. And this could prove to be a nightmare for Chris Disonell.
Disonell controlling both arms right now. He's safe in this position right at this second, but he needs to be careful.
Yeah, Disonell's lone submission loss was via rear naked choke. And Bates is looking for that RNC to record his 5th consecutive victory with 30 seconds left in the second.
It's on the chin. It's not comfortable right now for Chris, but it has not slid down to where he cannot defend. He's trying to grab that hand on top, trying to push that elbow up, palm to palm now on it. There is a squeeze. We should see Jaylon really extending his hips into the lower back. That will cause Disonell to have a problem.
The clock may be Disonell's biggest ally, and it will prove to be as we go to round 3.
You good? You good? Last one, boys. Let's go.
Third and final round. Bantamweights, Jaylon Bates, 4-0 with 3 submission wins. Chris Disonell, 6-4 with 2 knockouts and a submission victory. Disonell representing Hensel Gracie Latham in Shots Boxing, while Jaylon Bates representing Team Body Shop. Antonio McKee and his son, Bellator featherweight champion A.J. McKee in Bates' corner. Oh, the left hand catches Bates.
He's got the pass right there. You see his knee pressing down on the thigh. He's going to have that pass. He's trying to work his right leg over the top. You should not worry about that. He's going to get too high. Just take the position, either settle in the half guard or start moving yourself to side control.
Bates dropping some hammer fists and left hands, mixing it up as Disonell trying to control his posture, but Bates looking to move to side control if possible.
Smart move by Jaylon Bates. Landed some good hammer fist in there.
It was up.
It is inside, but it is crushed down too. Yeah, there you go. Another big right hand by Bates. Nice left hand that slipped in there by Jaylon.
At any moment, I feel like we're going to see vintage Mauricio Shogun or Fedor Emelianenko, diving into the guard. The butt scoop position of Disonell. Coming up on 3 minutes remaining in this bantamweight fight. Bates putting his weight on Disonell.
Yeah, the position of Disonell's head keeps him from being able to elevate Bates. He's putting a lot of pressure down on that head. He's going to come around behind him.
And let's listen in to Bates' corner, the McKees. And of course, on cue, John, nothing is being said. Thank you, McKees. Always money. No, it's kidding. They're satisfied with what they're
very
saying.
satisfied right now. They know he's.
But are you? I mean, obviously doing a lot of right things, and yet always wanting to continue to show growth and make statements, John.
Well,
leave it all in the cage.
Right now he's being smart with what he's doing. Now he goes for the hook. When you saw Disonell extend himself, he went for the hook to take his back. Nice job. He was heavy on the hips before. And now he's getting the choke set. If he takes that palm to palm, if he pushes with his legs, extends his hips into the lower back of Disonell, and he gets that arm in position, he'll get the choke. It's there. All he needs to do, go palm to palm on it. The extension of his hips, pushing the back of Disonell, will make that choke work when he decides to go for it. It's tight.
And there is the tap. All's well that ends Chris Disonell for Jaylon Bates as he makes it 5 straight wins to begin his professional mixed martial arts career. And he just picked up his 4th consecutive submission win, first via rear naked choke.
Here's your replay of what occurred. Nice job. As Chris tried to roll through, he was unable to get that Granby roll through. Jaylon just blocked it, and from this position, ends up getting his hooks, takes the back, and just slowly and systematically works towards that rear naked choke. And finally, you see him when he gets that Mataleon locked in place. There was nothing for Chris Disonell to do other than tap or take a nap.
Let's make it official with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, it comes to an end. 3 minutes, 39 seconds. Round number 3, the tap by way of the rear naked choke. The winner by submission, Jaylon Newbury.